and Norfolk Southern confirmed they're in advanced merger talks. Correspondent Mike Hempen reports.
The merger would create a single U.S. railroad with service from the east to the west coast. However, there's widespread debate over whether the merger would be approved by the STB. To be approved, any major rail merger must show it will enhance competition and serve the public interest. One railroad analyst says big shippers like Amazon, Dow, and U.S. Steel, who use massive amounts of freight capacity, will likely weigh in with regulators and will have a lot of say in whether the merger is approved. I'm Mike Hempen.
Justice Department officials met with Ghislaine Maxwell, the imprisoned former girlfriend of financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The meeting is part of a Justice Department effort to cast itself as transparent following backlash from parts of President Trump's base over an earlier refusal to release additional Epstein records. A lawyer for Maxwell says she'll always testify truthfully. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 316 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Brant, and her name is Sherry.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine whom we were just praying for because of a surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
Medishare.
That is right.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with Medishare and the healthcare bills?
Honestly, Brant, seamless. And what a blessing that is when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in with your need, that is just...
It is refreshing.
Yes, that's what it is.
What I keep telling people, people love Medishare, and they love saving tons of money, too. The typical family can save $500 a month.
I am very thankful for Medishare. It is so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way.
It is good different. Call now. They're easy to talk to, and you can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Gains for several big tech companies helped nudge U.S. stocks to more records, even as most stocks in the market fell. The S&P 500 edged up 0.1% to another all-time high. The Nasdaq Composite gained 0.2%, adding to its record. The Dow fell 0.7%. Alphabet climbed after the company behind Google and YouTube delivered a fatter profit than analysts expected. Tesla sank on worries about how much damage its brand has taken because of Elon Musk's foray into politics. Chemical company Dow tanked after reporting a far bigger loss than expected and cutting its dividend. The Dow was down 316 points to close at 44,693. The Nasdaq gained 38 to 21,057. The S&P 500 added 4 to 6363. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll cool down this evening to 75, and tomorrow we start to warm up in a big way. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. Go with a Thursday high of 96. Starting Friday and carrying all the way into early next week. Look for high temperatures to spike with triple digits. Very hot and also dry. Turn those sprinklers on. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
It's a big Thursday night edition of Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network, coming to you one final night from the Hilton in Uptown Charlotte. We wrap up ACC kickoff for 2025. What a day. What a day. And we're going to share most of it with you tonight here on Sports Talk. Phil Kornblut from here in Charlotte. The plumber, Josh Cohen, he just couldn't stay away. He's already been kicked out of school, so he's back. And he gave Jesse the body the night off. That was very kind of you. So
I booted him.
Josh is back. Bergie is flying back from New Orleans. In fact, he might even be back on South Carolina soil by now. And so we'll be heading out of here hopefully till 8 o'clock. They are literally tearing the roof. This same thing happened to me at the SEC. Actually, it was Digital Drive up there was torn apart before we went on the air. This is being torn apart around me. And why are they in such a hurry to tear this place apart? They have I don't know if you call it a convention or a super meeting. Mary Kay Cosmetics is here. Mary Kay Cosmetics. A bunch of women in pink walking around. I've picked up some rouge and some lipstick. So I feel like I will benefit from my contact with the good people of Mary Kay. So we're here as long as they don't pull the plug, and they promised me they won't pull the plug. In fact, I've relocated to a new position, so hopefully they won't pull the plug, because that would be a shame to pull the plug on a big Thursday night show. We've got Dabo Sweeney coming up. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from Cade Klubnik and Antonio Williams. We'll do the offensive side of the Tigers tonight. They also brought defensive players Peter Woods and T.J. Parker. We'll hold that for tomorrow night. An interview with Virginia Tech coach Brent Pry on his team, but also about the matchup with South Carolina. We'll have that for you. Bill Belichick made his appearance. His first appearance. Will it be his only appearance? Some know-it-alls didn't think he'd make it this far. Well, he's here, and he's ready to coach the Tar Heels, and I had to be impressed. I was impressed by what he had to say in the big room. I've never seen, in all my years of covering ACC kickoff, ACC basketball tip-off, I've never seen so many media people. Not all of them were media people. I don't know. Some of them might have been family friends. Not the girlfriend. She was not here. But there were a lot of people. That room was packed. That big banquet room was packed. More for him than any other coach. More than Dabo. More than any other coach. It was packed in there. I mean, let's face it, we shouldn't be stupid. Belichick is one of the all-time greatest coaches to walk the planet. And despite all the off-the-field stuff this year that might have soiled his reputation in the eyes of some, just from a human standpoint, from a football standpoint, he's still Bill Belichick, who's got all those Super Bowl rings and knows a thing or two about coaching football. And I enjoy, he referenced his competing against, because he's an NFL guy, and he's just recently removed from the NFL. He's referencing NFL coaches that he competed against. It's not like he's referencing playing against Mars Hill or Lenore Ryan or NC State. I mean, his reference is the NFL, period, for the most part. Now, he had a little bit of taste of college life, but for the most part, it's all been NFL for him, so all his references, of course, relate to the NFL. But he got into a little dirty football talk, which is good, so we'll have some of that for you as well tonight. And Mike Morgan, who's never coached in the NFL or in college for that matter, but he knows a lot about it and he shares a lot about it. He'll be joining us as well tonight for another edition of Morgan on the Move. So we got a busy show, plus some recruiting. We'll update the situation with South Carolina and Clemson running back target. Now, Clemson becoming major player with Amari Thomas. We'll update that for you as well if you haven't already read our story. So we are just jammed up, jam-packed tonight. And I don't know if we'll get the phone calls, but I'll give you the number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. And also, of course, our text line number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. And, of course, what would be a media day without some reporting about conference realignment? And this one hits close to home. Once again, I thought this had kind of been put to bed for a little while. You kind of thought that after the settlement between the ACC and Clemson and Florida State that the ACC and its member schools would settle down and we'd have some quiet time on this topic, but apparently not. The site Inside Carolina, that's a North Carolina website, had a report out that another round of a realignment could be in the works. And it is that North Carolina could be exploring a move away from the ACC. The report is that North Carolina is among several schools interested in seeking a potential departure from the ACC whenever the next round of collegiate alignment happens. And North Carolina could be considered at the front of the pack alongside Clemson. Inside Carolina sources reportedly named the SEC as the conference the Tar Heels are aiming to land should it ultimately exit the ACC, perhaps in the near future. The ACC's exit fees drop from $93 to $75 million beginning in 2030. Is that the near future? That's still like 5 years down the road. Which would figure to become an important final line of demarcation if the Tar Heels haven't made their departure from the ACC sooner, per Inside Carolina. So, Jim Phillips, the commissioner here, kind of, when he spoke on Tuesday, kind of thought that everything was cool and everybody, even nobody was going to be exactly happy. Nobody was going to have everything that they wanted, but they got enough each way to kind of make everybody happy. Apparently not the case. No mention here about Florida State, but you would think that Florida State, if they're talking about several ACC schools, you would think that Florida State would also be in that conversation. But then again, if North Carolina leaves the ACC, does NC State go with them? Is there some sort of absolute tie-in with those guys? And then what happens to the ACC? I mean, the ACC, this might be one of the last of these kickoffs because the ACC is not going to survive without Clemson and North Carolina and others who might depart. So just when you think maybe we're going to talk wins and losses and strategies and game plans and things like that, we're back to talking about this stuff. And then, as if that were not enough, President Trump today signed a college sports executive order that prohibits third-party pay-for-play payments to collegiate athletes. It's titled, President Donald Trump Saves College Sports. Right after he saved the Middle East, now he's saving college sports. So an executive order that will prohibit third-party pay-for-play payments directs the Secretary of Labor and the NLRB to clarify that athletes are amateurs and not employees. And it's titled, To Save College Sports. The executive order delivers on multiple items for which the NCAA has recently lobbied Congress. So I'm not going to go into all the details on that. It's really complicated stuff. You can read all about it on your favorite online website. But when the President of the United States, see whoever it happens to be, whether it's this president or previous president or a future president, they see the need to get involved in what's going on in college sports. I mean, that tells you how out of whack it all seems to be to those people. So we'll see how this affects things. But the bottom line is that they want to prevent third-party pay-for-play payments to collegiate athletes. I mean, I don't know what exactly that's going to do. The collectives are they viewed as third-party entities? I don't think so, because they're part of the universities now. They are embedded with their universities for the most part. So I'm not exactly sure, without reading more detail, and I haven't had a chance to, exactly who this will apply to as far as, the man on the street who wants to walk up and give $1,000 to a player. Maybe that's what it pertains to, or outside outside entities like a car dealership or you name it, a grocery store doing their own deal outside of a collective or something, or outside of a university. Maybe that's what they're talking about, and that's not going to be able to get done now with this executive order. Okay, we want to dive right into things here in Charlotte. And so we'll hit the break, and we'll come back and hear from Clemson coach Dabo Swinney as he took questions from the media. He did a number of live spots and recorded spots with radio shows, but not this one. Not one from his home state, his beautiful home state of South Carolina. We were passed over again by Dabo Swinney. Go figure. No surprises there. And we'll be right back.
Looking to make life simpler and save money? Make a smart move. Transfer your high interest balances to a Founders credit card and take advantage of our balance transfer rate as low as 2.99% APR. That's right, as low as 2.99% with no balance transfer fees. That means more breathing room for what matters, like taking that long-awaited vacation or finally getting ahead. Whether you're catching up or simply just want to relax, we're here to help you save more. So, what are you waiting for? Take advantage of this limited time offer through September the 30th. Apply now and enjoy peace of mind knowing you've made a smart move that works for your wallet and for you. Visit foundersfcu.com or stop by a local office today. Promotional rate expires 6 months from the date of the transaction. Then effective APR of 13.25% to 17.9% will apply. For more details, visit foundersfcu.com/cc. Membership qualification required.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
So Dabo Swinney and 4 Clemson players were here. 3 of them, along with Swinney, were in the big main room. Not using that audio because really Swinney was asked one question having to do with the PAW journey, and he went on for like 10 minutes talking about the PAW journey, which is a great thing, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't much football talk there from him. It was the breakout room where we got more football talk from him. You won't be able to hear the questions all that well. So you will hear the answers, however, clearly. So let's go to Dabo Swinney from today, and beginning with his response to a question about the new ACC rules saying spectators have to stay off the playing field until the opposing team and the officiating crew, they have left the field. Here's Dabo Swinney.
We're used to field storming. We're obviously it's at home every game, and if we lose on the road, we get it there too. So we get a lot of experience at it. We've dealt with it, but it's I didn't really even know about it till last week. Honestly, we were in our program meetings, and Graham kind of went over it. So I think they've got a good plan in place where hopefully can achieve the objectives of being able to get the team off the field. And then, but still be able to gather at the Paul and have the fans come on and hold the alma mater until we do that. So I think they got a good plan in place.
The settlement with the ACC over the summer, I know that involves more administrative and things like that, but now that is resolved, I guess, A, how did you feel about where that landed, and B, I guess, if at all, did you feel that might have been a distraction, if anything, over the last year or two?
No, it really wasn't a distraction for me because I didn't have to deal with any of that. I just let, Graham and President Clements and all the lawyers and everybody, do their thing. But I'm glad that all that's behind us, and you know, I think it landed in a really good place, and everybody has an opportunity if you go perform to be rewarded for it.
Dabo, what did you think about Brian Kelly's comments referring to Clemson as Death Valley Junior?
I didn't think about it. You know, it's you know, my focus is just on getting ready to play the game. None of the rest of it.
To follow up on that, he mentioned that they have circled this game on the calendar inside the indoor facility in his program. Have you guys made any such points, or you just kept it a normal MO for you guys?
I mean, we every game's huge for us. I mean, they're all big. Now, as I say, if you know Troy's going to be big too. You lose that one, you'll find out how big it is. So they're all big. A goal for us is to win the opener. That's always been a goal for us. You know, we've been more successful than not in achieving that goal, but it's just one goal, and we've got multiple goals on our goal board, and we look at it every day. You know, so. Winning that opener is important. That's why it's a standalone goal for us, regardless of who we play. And for us, we play big games every year, and typically we open up with big games. So it's just kind of, you know, the way you know, we expect it to be.
Yeah, Coach, how do you feel about the player building?
I think you're special these days, Bill Belichick. Describe his relationship, and what do you anticipate being like when the player late in the season lined up on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have much of a relationship with him prior to ACC meetings in May at Amelia Island, but it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I mean, you know, there was more than one occasion that I went, "Yep, that's Bill Belichick right there." Right here in the ACC head coaches meetings. It's like the most 2025 thing ever. But it's been great because, you know, it's how often would a coach get a chance to be, you know, with a coach like Bill Belichick? You know, most of the time you'd have to be in the NFL, and then all of a sudden he's in your ACC coaches meetings, and so it's provided opportunity to get to know him differently, and you know, hours of meetings in May, and then casual chit chat opportunities like this where you get a chance to see him, and now certainly get a chance to play him. It's been it's been really cool. I got a lot of respect for him. I mean, it's well documented what he's done as a football coach, but I just think he's a very interesting guy. I love to talk to him, so. You know, I saw him smile several times today. I don't know if y'all met with him yet or not, but how's it been? Is he giving y'all more than we're on to camp? I don't know. Has it been? Oh, well, I anticipate that. Next question. I don't know. Start camp next week. On to camp.
The new ACC policy on player availability, and how do you guys plan to manage that?
Yeah, I know that they came out with something. I still don't know what. I don't even. Y'all can probably tell me what it is. I guess they'll tell me when I get back. Do I get to still use day to day? I don't get to use day to day anymore. Oh, okay, I can't just give Chapel day to day. It's day to day, Chapel. Yeah. Day to day, month to month. We're all year to year, week to week. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's going to be like at one time we had that at some point. I don't know. One of these years we were doubtful, probable, unaccountable, can't find them. I don't know. I mean, we had all these different categories that we had. So I think. I mean, I understand the purpose of it from I guess a gambling standpoint and all that stuff, but. It's fine with me. I don't have a problem with it.
I know you're excited about Adam Randall and what he did for running back. What are the challenges of switching positions in your college career from wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, you see that. You see it in the pros. You've seen guys go from defense to offense. From one of my favorite all-time players, Jim Jensen. Anybody remember him? You old enough to remember Jim Jensen? And his name from the Dolphins, the Swiss Army knife. Like, he was one of my all-time favorite players because he played linebacker, tight end, quarterback, punter, tight end, fullback. He literally played all those positions, and so, you know, you see it at all levels. But it's not like, I mean, football is football, you know. But he's and for him in particular, he he actually was more of a quarterback running back growing up until he moved to receiver. And so it's been a natural transition for him. And I'm excited for him. I mean, he's just really done the work. And obviously the playoff game gave him some confidence after about 3 days of practice. So I think he certainly has built on that. And so I'm excited to see it come to fruition. Well, I mean, first of all, he's just a very committed and focused, young person. I mean, like really has a vision for what he wants to do, and that drives him. It drives his habits. And so I think you don't always see that in young people. He's not a distracted kid at all. I mean, he is locked in and always has been. So I think that's where it starts for him, because again, that's what dictates his habits. He is incredibly gifted when it comes to his understanding of the nuances of playing the receiver position, and whether it be release technique, separation technique, break points, his change of direction is really, really good. He plays long. He's not big per se, but he kind of like Renfro in that he plays big. He plays with a lot of length. He's got a lot of natural instincts for body control, high pointing balls, can really play all three positions. So again, that speaks to his defensive knowledge and his overall knowledge of the total concept. He's just the same guy every day. I mean, just shows up every day. He's as tough as they come. So, I mean, there's a lot that makes him special, and it's been fun. But I think it all comes down to just how he's wired. I mean, he really, truly is driven by a very, very clear vision that he has for what he wants to do, and he's willing to do what it takes.
Cade was talking about how important that day was to him when he met with you in your office. And what do you remember about the day? What was the message you were trying to get across?
I just wanted him to know, I believed in him, and because it just is what it is when you sign up to do this, whether you're a coach at this level or certainly play the quarterback position. There's a lot of criticism and there's a lot of opinions and things like that. And I just knew there was going to be a lot of noise and a lot of stuff. And he's a young person, and I just felt like it was important that I let him know that I fully believed in him. And I didn't want him worrying about me going and getting a guy and this. I wanted him to know, hey, you're my guy. And if it don't work, then I'm going down with you. And but I believe in you. And, this is a developmental game. And I've done it for a long time. So we forget that, because now we're in this world where if you're not great as a freshman, you stink. And you move on to the next guy. And it's a developmental game.
All right, that's Dabo Swinney. I got one more piece of Dabo Swinney that I did not include in that piece, but I'm going to play it when we come back from the break. It's an interesting tale. He's probably told it before, but it's worth playing again, about his meeting with Terry Don Phillips when he thought he was going to get fired. That was after the completion of the 2010 season, I believe. So we'll play that coming up after the break, and then we'll move on to other good stuff from here, including a one-on-one interview with Cade Klubnik. We did one-on-one interviews with all four Clemson players. They just did not bring Dabo Swinney over to visit with us one-on-one, while he did do several other radio shows. Go figure. Can't figure that one out still. And we'll be back.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll cool down this evening to 75, and tomorrow we start to warm up in a big way. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. Go with a Thursday high of 96, starting Friday and carrying all the way into early next week. Look for high temperatures to spike with triple digits. Very hot and also dry. Turn those sprinklers on. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
The Point is teaming up with our friends at Americans for Prosperity, South Carolina, for one big, beautiful party. Join us at Flight Deck Restaurant in Lexington, Friday, August the 8th, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We'll do the afternoon drive live. And how about this? The food is on us. It's AFP and the Point's way of saying, hey, thanks for always supporting important causes, calling your elected officials, caring about local issues. Friday, August the 8th, Flight Deck. Come by and celebrate one big, beautiful party. We'll see you there.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Tech companies selling AI to the federal government now face a new challenge, proving their chatbots aren't woke. President Trump's plan to counter China's AI dominance includes an executive order to prevent woke AI in the federal government. Major AI providers like Google and Microsoft have not commented on the directive. The Justice Department's number 2 official has met with Ghislaine Maxwell, the imprisoned former girlfriend of financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The meeting between Maxwell and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche is part of a Justice Department effort to cast itself as transparent, following backlash from parts of President Trump's base over an earlier refusal to release additional Epstein records. More details at srnnews.com.
Sometimes timing is everything, and I've been talking the talk about Broker Solar for a good minute. I'm a fan. I've had some Point listeners ask me about Broker Solar. They're on the fence because of what's going on in D.C. Now that the politics have settled, we know what's in that big, beautiful bill. We know the federal tax credit for getting solar power at your home. It's going to end in December, so the clock is ticking. You want that 30% federal tax credit, believe me. So we need to get Ken out to your place before they cut it. Plus, you'll still get a 25% tax credit here in South Carolina. So yeah, timing is everything. 30% federal, 25% state credit. Are you kidding me? That's a big part of the cost already knocked out for solar power. It's time for you to take control of your own power bill. Like I said, timing's everything. Now is the time. Online, it's brokersolar.com or just call Ken and his team. 807-7417. That's 807-7417. brokersolar.com.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
All right, we're back at Sports Talk, Sports Talk Media Network, wrapping things up from Charlotte. We are the final show on the air from ACC kickoff.
Or
live,
the
that
first
is.
show, or the first show from the makeup show, or the lipstick show, or
We
whatever.
are the
you're at.
first show from the Mary Kay Cosmetics makeup show.
That's what you got to say.
You know what? I should tell them, hey, I'm broadcasting live from your convention here. Give me some rouge. Give me some lipstick. Give me some eyeliner. Yeah, we can put all that to good use. Mary Kay Cosmetics. Probably some pink Cadillacs parked outside as well. We're going to play this other piece from Dabo Swinney in a moment. I want to throw this one last thing out about the executive order signed today by Trump that will prohibit third-party pay-for-play payments. Just reading a little bit more. So this order prohibits third-party pay-for-play payments, but it does not apply to legitimate fair market value compensation that a third party provides to an athlete, such as a brand endorsement. So what they're saying here is you just can't pay them straight up cash for doing nothing. Just because we want to have you in our program, we're not going to sign over. We are forbidden for signing over, $100,000 or $500,000 to give to a guy. There's got to be a legitimate brand endorsement or a fair market value compensation. This does not detail how they would be how this would be enforced and how you would be penalized if you violated this. So it leaves a lot of stuff open for interpretation, I guess, at this particular time. But it's out there. Kind of hate that Trump is sticking his nose into the college athletics world. I wish that, they could get together on things that is collectively the schools get their acts together in so many different ways. One of my interviews here today, and we'll have this tomorrow night, is the director of the college football playoff. And what a super guy he happens to be. He is the executive director, Rich Clark. He's a retired 3-star lieutenant general in the Air Force. This guy was so cool to talk to. You know what he did in the Air Force, Plummer? You know what Rich Clark did? He said call him Rich, by the way. Don't call him General or anything like that. Wasn't wearing.
What did Rich do?
He flew the B-2 bomber on
Wow.
missions to Iraq, Afghanistan, and you know what they did. So what a cool dude, former football player at Air Force from the state of Virginia, went to Huguenot High School. He played under, in various ways, Fisher DeBerry and also Ken Hatfield. So he's got a tie to the state of South Carolina. And I suggested to him, why don't you just take over college athletics? You're a leader. Nobody's going to snap at you. You're a flipping general. You've flown the B-2 bomber. You're smarter than anybody in the room. He was very humble. He said, no, don't want to get involved with that. But that's the kind of guy you got to have in charge. Non-political, impartial, just smart, with a great way to sort things out and come up with a plan that doesn't make everybody happy. Is it going to be 16 teams? Is it going to be 12 teams? Is it going to be 24 teams? He actually said that he liked the 16-team model as far as having 16. And he didn't think it should go much more than 16 because of schedules and the academic side of things. And we'll have that interview for you tomorrow night. But I digress from what I was saying. It'd be nice to see if the colleges handle this without having the president of the United States, whoever happens to be in that office, step in and try and force his thoughts and his will on the situation. Back to Dabo Swinney. One more piece here from his visit with the media in the breakout room. In fact, we played part of this answer. It came from the answer where he was talking about the meeting he had in the offseason with Cade Klubnik, just to reassure Cade Klubnik that you're still my guy and I still believe in you. And we've nurtured you and we've brought you along. We're not giving up on you. Don't be looking over your shoulders. There's nobody else coming in that we're not going to the portal for a quarterback. You're our guy. We're going to live and we're going to win and lose with you, so don't worry about it. Well, he had that same kind of come to Jesus moment with his athletics director at the time, Terry Don Phillips, back after a bad season of 2010 when the Tigers won 6 games and lost their last game at home. And we pick it up from there, his comments about what happened after that game. And here's his story.
After we lost at home in the last one, doing the press conference, I walk out, my wife's crying. And, I just thought she was just sad, feel bad for me. And I just gave her a hug. And I said, it's going to be okay, babe. We'll be all right. And then she looks at me again. And she goes, Terry Don's in your office, and I went, oh, I think I'm getting fired. And she thinks I'm getting fired. And so just kind of took a moment to just kind of gather myself. And I'm like, well, you know what? Hey, God's still on the throne. And, it's what he's got for me, he's got for me. And so I just kind of, I come out of the West Zone. There was my office was over there. I walked down, and the door's cracked, and Terry Don's sitting on the couch, and I literally think I'm getting fired. And I go from thinking I'm getting fired to him telling me how much he believes in me, and that, hey, there's going to be a lot of criticism. There's going to be a lot of this and that, and here's what I want you to know. You keep doing what you're doing, and I want you to know that I got your back. And he said, and I believe in you more now than even when I hired you. And then he got up and he said, and if it don't work, you can come help me pack, and I'll come help you pack. And he gave me a hug, and he walked out. And those of you who knew Terry Don Phillips and know him, he's not a man of a lot of words, but he had a lot of conviction in his words. And he meant what he said. And I go from literally think, and my wife thinks I'm fired because Terry Don walks out and, Cass out there, ready to come just cry with me, I guess. And she walks in. She's like, and I'm like, I didn't get fired. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, said he loves me. So it's just I think that's just, we all are, we're products of all the people that have shaped us and poured in our life. And I've had a lot of great leaders.
All right, Dabo Swinney, sort of, again, relating his meeting with Cade Klubnik after last season with his meeting with Terry Don Phillips after he had a down season in 2010. And, Klubnik is a guy that's on the way, is a guy that's has taken huge steps and had a big year last year and being talked about for the Heisman Trophy this year. If he has another big year like he had last year, post those kind of numbers, and Clemson makes a deep playoff run, then he will get a lot of Heisman votes. One thing Clemson's never achieved is a Heisman Trophy winner. Come close, but they've never won the thing. So this could be the year. This could be the year that they break through if they have that kind of year. And, after listening to everything and knowing what we do know on our own, but listening to the players, this Clemson team could win it. They could win it all. They have high expectations going into this season. I don't think those are false expectations. Across the board, this is a loaded football team with players that they primarily develop. There's one transfer defensive end. There's one transfer receiver, both of whom are going to play a lot and help a lot. But otherwise, it's homegrown talent for the Tigers. Dabo Swinney's, pretty sure that they're going to be fine at running back. He's pretty sure that Adam Randall can easily handle the transition from wide receiver to running back. He doesn't think that's going to be a problem, and there's other running backs in there as well. This might be, this is a receivers room that rivals some of the best Clemson's ever had. They've got serious talent and deep talent at wide receiver, and the transfer they took, Tristan Smith, just gives them a tall, abled receiver. They've probably got 6 receivers they can trot out there with confidence. And don't forget, Tyler Brown is coming back off his injury. He's going to be a major contributor to him. So the defense looks stout. The kicking game is very, very good. The schedule's the schedule. It's the ACC after they play LSU and finish with South Carolina, and in between the meet is the ACC. And There's nothing for them to fear. There's really nothing for them to fear right now in the ACC when you look at the schedule. I mean, they do go to North Carolina, but what's North Carolina going to be able to produce this year under Belichick? I mean, there's a lot of excitement under Belichick, but what can he do with that team, with that defense in 1 year? Georgia Tech might be dangerous because we talked about them earlier. They're feeling pretty high on themselves. They've got some weapons. You're playing in Atlanta, so that could be kind of a hold your breath kind of deal. But, I mean, really, are any of these teams in the ACC going to rise up? Of course, last year Clemson lost to Louisville, and they trailed Virginia. And they had to pull out the ACC championship game in the last seconds. Of course, there is a home game with SMU. SMU is going to get a lot of votes. I'm not going to say they're going to get a lot of votes to win. I think the vast majority of the votes are going to go to Clemson, but they're going to get votes that will keep them like maybe second or third, I would say, in the preseason poll would be SMU. I would say it's going to be, I'd say your top 4 teams are going to be Clemson, probably either Georgia Tech or SMU. And then that 4th spot, there might be people who'd put Florida State in that 4th spot. You know, with the new quarterback, Castellanos. Think of him as you will, or maybe Miami. Miami or Florida State, I would say, probably dropping into that 4th spot. So things look good for Clemson. If you're thinking about a long postseason run for the Tigers and a chance to win a 4th national championship, I think that's a very legitimate thought to have going into this season. All right, let's hit the break. We're going to come back and hear from that quarterback. Cade Klubnik had a chance to go one-on-one with him this morning as the Tigers were making the rounds. So we'll hear from Cade Klubnik coming up after the break. Also, we'll hear from Antonio Williams. Terrific conversation with him. We'll hear from Bill Belichick as well. Our interview with Brent Pry, Virginia Tech's head coach, Mike Morgan, and we got recruiting news as well. We're back from Charlotte in a moment.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your rec case or any on-the-job injury. Call 803-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. Jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot, and the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
He's got a mic in his hand, a voice so smooth. Phil Kornblatt's the name, they call him Corn Coot. Sports talk king, yeah, he rules the air. But neutrality, man, it's just not there. He says he's balanced, calls it down the line. But those Gamecock colors, they always shine. Corn Coot, oh Corn Coot. Says he's neutral, but we see the truth. Corn Coot, oh Corn Coot. Loves the Cox, it's his favorite suit. Clemson fans calling, they take their shot. Phil nods along, but his heart does not. He tries to play it cool. to toe the field, but his Gamecock pride just won't stay sealed. He's got stats and facts, he's got the flow, but that rooster crow gives him away, you know. Corn good, oh corn good, says he's neutral, but we see the truth.
The truth. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right, enough of that. Some people have just too much time on their hands and too much knowledge.
That's Sports Talk Orchestra. They do a great job.
That one might win a
Grammy.
That could be a Grammy-nominated piece of music there.
We need
or you might be
video.
stealing. You might be stealing a theme there or a jingle or something.
I think we need a music video to go with it. Would you be able to be in that, or would you?
No, I think we'll pass.
Would you need some NIL music or?
We'll pass on that.
NIL
I want to
money?
get to my Cade Klubnik piece here before we run out of time, Plummer. I told you we're going to be tight. So here is Cade Klubnik, Clemson quarterback, as we talked with him this morning here in Charlotte. How excited are you about this upcoming season?
Pumped. It's gonna be a fun year. It's been a really good summer. It's been great. It's been a really good offseason. Just been getting after it, keeping our head down, going to work. So
when you hear people talk about Clemson and national championship, playoffs, ACC championships, I mean, the bar is being set so high for you guys outside. How do you react to that?
To be honest, we're not really listening to that. A year ago, everybody told us that we weren't very good. Everybody said I wasn't very good, and Coach Sweeney needed to get rid of me. So I wasn't listening to them. I'm not really listening now. So just trying to put our head down and go be the best we can be. And I'm trying to be the best Cade Klubnik I can be, and trying to be the best Clemson Tigers we can be. Mentally, how did you persevere throughout all of that last year, the criticism going into last year, to where you had to kind of prove yourself again? I think just kind of put my head down and went to work, just as simple as that is. It's simple, but it's not easy. And, for me, it's just sacrificing a lot, sacrificing a lot of the fun for the work. And it's just kind of what it has to take. And I think that I try to do that again this year and just, trying to outwork last year's version of myself. That's really what it comes down to. So trying to lead this team the best we can be, just trying to push guys to be great, and that's really all I was trying to do. Have you accomplished that? I believe so. I believe I've put the work in this offseason and hopefully be able to see the fruits of that. So, how are you different physically and as a quarterback in terms of the elements of being a successful quarterback? We'll see whenever we go into fall camp and the season, but just continue to just trying to get better. Red zone, using my legs when I need to. Just trying to feel like I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been. So, smarter. But we'll see whenever the season happens. Absolutely. Yeah. Going into your third year with Coach Riley, same offensive coordinator, so he's sort of taken you and kind of molded you in his image. How valuable is that to have that sort of extended relationship? Yeah, it's great. Being able to, I feel like I'm out there. I know what he's going to call before he calls it. Giving me some more freedoms out there and a little bit more control out there is just great. Just year by year, and I'm just super, super excited to have him again. And he's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. Man, it's so fun to go to work with him, and just makes every day a blast and a joy to be around. So I'm just really excited to be able to go through another year with him. Does he ever yell at you? He's kind of like cool as can be, to be honest. I mean, he'll be firm, but not yell. But that's more Sweeney, Coach Sweeney. So, Coach Riley, whenever you play the position, you know how hard it is. And I think that he's the type of guy that realizes, sometimes screaming at you isn't always the best answer. I just love the way he does things and feel like I get a lot out of it. So, what is the one thing that you do that gets under his skin? Coach Riley? Yeah. Or Coach Sweeney? Well, either, but primarily Coach Riley. Probably just make a mental mistake, Try not to have too many of those, especially because they're mostly completely under your control. But, if I'm supposed to pull it and I give it, something like that, that's just
probably pisses me off more than anybody.
Well, you
I'm pretty hard on myself, so.
You went through that stage, obviously, as you were growing and maturing as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And you eliminate a lot of that stuff as you get more experience. I mean, people expected so much out of you from the moment you stepped on the field. Maybe it was unfair.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, experience is, it's a developmental position and it's a developmental game. So continually get better every single year, and it's exciting, man. It's one of the most fun things in life and in football is just seeing yourself go to work and get better. It's really fun. So,
how much fun are you having with this offensive group when you look at the fact that you've got your entire offensive line basically back? You've got all those receivers. Now, a little bit of a question mark to the outsiders, a little bit of a question mark about the running back situation. Maybe not to you guys on the inside.
Yeah, feel great, man. Feel really good. Obviously, a lot of veterans coming back. I feel like for the first time since I've been here, I think we've led the country and most freshmen played the last 2 years. I feel like we've always had a young team, and for the first time we're a little bit more veteran, a little bit older. Got some guys that have really played some ball, but I mean, I think the biggest thing is we've just lived life together. We've been through the fire, and we've lived life and gone through it, and that's really special. We're not a program that's taking 30, 40 new guys every year. The guys that we went through the last 3 years with are the guys that I'm still with, and I think that's really special, and just it's fun. It's really fun.
Let's flash back real quick to the Texas game in the playoffs, and first possession, you guys went down the field, put it in the end zone. Had to feel great for you being in your hometown to show out like that from the very beginning, to go right down the field. What do you remember about that opening drive?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, we just exactly what you said. Put a drive together right out of the gate. Score with tone right there. But that was a fun way to start. Wish we could have come out with a win right there. That would have been awesome. But yeah.
Would you anything about that trip to Austin that having that is your neighborhood, I guess?
Yeah.
Anything in particular about that trip that you recall for that brief time you were there?
Oh, man, that game was just awesome, man. Getting to go home, born and raised there. I probably knew 3,000 people there. Didn't get 3,000 tickets for them, but I probably knew 3,000 people there, and just being able to, go against my old teammates, and it was just a really special game. It was really cool. So.
How many games do you think in your life that you've been to in that stadium? Just as a fan, just buying a
half
ticket.
A dozen.
Yeah.
Half a dozen. Not too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LSU to open things up at your place. What about facing that defense? And they're going to be coming in. They've got some of the same aspirations you guys have, and they also feel like they know, both of you know, losing the game is not going to kill you, but winning the game is going to really jumpstart you to what could be a special season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great opportunity. Excited. I'm excited to start off the year at home. I've never gotten to start off a season opener at home. I've always been on the road. So excited for that. I think it's a big game. It's a big game, but I think, to be honest, if you've played college football before, you know how important every week is. And you kind of hit on it. But every week is really, really important. And it's, you can make a big deal at first game, and we're intending to go win that first game. But week 7 is just as important. Week 3 is just as important. Week 11 is just as important. So every week is a big deal, and we're excited to have a good season, not just a good first game. We want to have a great great season. So we have a great first game and go dominate. But that's really what it comes down to.
All right, Kate Klubnik with us on Sports Talk, taped early today here in Charlotte. Much more to come, including Mike Morgan. Be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The Senate Judiciary Committee will proceed with former Fox News host Jeanine Pirro's nomination to be the top federal prosecutor in the District of Columbia. More from correspondent Bernie Bennett.
Protesters opposing Pirro's confirmation interrupted the panel meeting, shouting that none of the Senate Judiciary Committee members represented the constituents of Washington, D.C., and its residents rejected her. The Senate has a blue slip policy that allows home state senators to veto a U.S. attorney nominee for the jurisdiction. Without voting senators, Washington, D.C. does not have representatives who could formally object to Pirro's nomination. Pirro is currently serving as U.S. attorney in an interim capacity after President Donald Trump's first nominee for the role, Ed Martin, failed to gain enough support among Republican senators. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
A prominent Democratic governor is stepping down.
Democratic Governor Tony Evers of Wisconsin says that he will not seek a third term in 2026. It will be Wisconsin's highest profile race next year, as Democrats also angle to take control of the state's legislature after election map boundaries were redrawn that are friendlier to Democrats. Wisconsin Democrats are also targeting 2 Wisconsin congressional districts as Democrats nationwide try to retake control of the House in Washington. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Tech companies selling AI to the federal government now face a new challenge, proving their chatbots aren't woke. President Trump's plan to counter China's AI dominance includes an executive order to prevent woke AI in the federal government. Major AI providers like Google and Microsoft have not commented on the directive. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 316 points, the Nasdaq rose 38, the S&P advanced 4, oil up to $66.25 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
At a scaled-back summit on Europe-China relations in Beijing, Europe's leaders call for increased market access and help in pressuring Russia to stop the war in Ukraine.
In opening remarks, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen highlights trade and calls for concrete progress to address Europe's yawning trade deficit with China.
We think increasing market access for European companies in China, limiting the external impact of involution and reducing export controls.
The talks, originally planned for 2 days, have been scaled down to 1. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
French President Emmanuel Macron has announced that France will recognize Palestine as a state. That amid snowballing global anger over people starving in Gaza. News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll cool down this evening to 75, and tomorrow we start to warm up in a big way. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. Go with a Thursday high of 96, starting Friday and carrying all the way into early next week. Look for high temperatures to spike with triple digits. Very hot and also dry. Turn those sprinklers on. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Welcome back in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network on a Thursday night, big Thursday, as we wrap up coverage of the ACC kickoff for 2025. In fact, we are the only one still here broadcasting from the atrium of the Hilton Uptown, which is being converted, not the Hilton, but the atrium. It's being converted into a Mary Kay Cosmetics convention. I'm going to walk out of here smelling of a variety of perfumes and colognes, not to mention all the rouge and lipstick and eyeliner that I'll have stuffed inside my pockets that I'll be using for future holiday gifts, including one that I'll send to Mike Morgan because, Morgan, being a man on television, he needs all the rouge, eyeliner, and lipstick that he can get. It is time for another edition of Morgan on the Move here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Play It Again Sports in Harbison, outside of Columbia, near St. Andrews. Chris Mosley runs the best sporting goods shop in the Palmetto State with all the things you'll want to buy, sell, or trade. Best selection, best prices, with a great friendly staff. That's Play It Again Sports in Columbia.
Sponsored by Midstate Roofing, South Carolina's leading roofer for over 30 years, protecting what matters most.
Mike Morgan joining us now here on Sports Talk. Welcome in, Mike. Are we late in wishing, I'm trying to figure out, are we late in wishing you a happy birthday?
Well, you say we, I think you are late. I don't know if I can't pin this on the rest of the fine staff over there, but yes, you are late.
No. Well, happy.
By about 5 days.
Oh, well, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, geez, thanks.
Did you turn, 30? Have you hit 30 yet?
29.
29.
I am infinitely 29.
Forever young. So, really, as a TV personality, you need all the rouge you can get, right? If I sent you a bunch of Mary Kay Cosmetic rouge, you'd use it?
This is hand to God. I've only ever used one piece of makeup, and that's just a powder, just a generic powder, which prevents the shine coming off my forehead and nose back into the camera, which would probably kill some people. So that's it. Now, I've worked with a number of people that they just cake a bunch of stuff on there, and especially on a hot day, that would drive me insane. So I just a slight, and I mean a slight touch of powder, and that's good to go.
That's good.
They're not tuning in to see my face anyway. You know,
real beauty does not need assistance. Okay, I mean, if you got it, you got it. You know, if you got it, you got it.
So true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely so true. Spoken from an Adonis like yourself, that is good wisdom.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about the ACC. You know that league, the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. I know you SEC people don't really know that any other league exists, but there is the ACC, and I think Clemson looks they look really good to me right now, Mike, after listening and reading and following and thinking. And I mean, I think they're going to beat LSU now when they come to when LSU comes to Clemson to open the season. Your thoughts?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they're a slight favorite in that game at home, so that wouldn't be the biggest shocker in the world.
Yeah.
If that happened, I hope it's a good game. That'd be one I'd like to tune in and watch. And just like most of these games in the opening weekend, I hope we've got some games that are worth watching. That clearly is. I mean, for my money, it's Texas, Ohio State, it's Clemson, LSU in terms of what I think on paper should be the most competitive games. And I caught a little bit of the comments from Dabo today. You can always tell when a coach knows he's got a squad, right? There's just a little bit extra something in that voice. You know, we've heard Dabo at podiums for the better part of over 15 years now, and I think the last few years he's had a couple of teams that he wasn't real sure about in terms of being, national championship competitor caliber. I think this year he knows they've got the ingredients. It's finally worked out, and there's less talk about not being pro portal or pro NIL and all that stuff. One way or another, he's accumulated enough talent to be one of the most talented teams in the country.
You know, just when we thought we could really focus on the season, things always crop up. You had President Trump doing something today related to payments to players and all that. And then you had the story, I don't know if you saw it, probably did, the story coming out about expansion, SEC expansion with the ACC and being involved in North Carolina, being a front runner there with Clemson in particular and others. I mean, I think that at some point in time, I don't know when that point in time is going to be, but at some point in time, all of this stuff has just got to get settled, and we've got to have a cemented plan for college football to live by for, I don't know, give us a decade of calm. Give us a decade of just playing the game and not worrying about how many teams in a playoff and how much money you can make from a car dealership and who's in what conference. I mean, come on already.
It's kind of funny because when you think about it, virtually nothing significant happened in this sport off the field in a long, long time. I mean, everything has always moved at a glacial pace in college athletics, right? I mean, the most radical things, you eventually got to a BCS. That was what, in 1998? And that took 100 years. And then it took another 20 years to go from a BCS system, which I would argue was a failure. I know a lot of people disagree with that, and that's fine. But it took 20 years to actually get to a playoff, which is what so many fans wanted for, again, about 100 years. And then from that point on, every year, it's just dramatic changes and rumors of changes. I mean, you're right. You can't catch your breath. Now, for people that do what you do, a daily talk show, for people that do podcasts, for people that run websites, you could argue it's great. You've always got content. You don't even need media days to have good discussion during the summer anymore. But I think your average fan is just fatigued by it all and would love to just, I almost said wake up and read the morning paper, but since very few people do that anymore, wake up and look at the internet and actually see nothing dramatic has changed, just a schedule and a depth chart, and here we go. But we're just a far ways from that, and I don't know when we're slowing down, Phil, but I don't think it's in the next couple of years.
No, I think you're right. I mean, things just continue to change practically on a daily basis, and I don't know how or when we're going to get everything in place. I think as long as there's no true central leadership for college athletics, there is no true central leadership. It's commissioner here, it's commissioner there, it's commissioner over there. They're all making their own plans. I mean, I interviewed Rich Clark today, I don't know if you had a chance to meet him at SEC Media Days. He is the executive director now of the College Football Playoff. On top of that, he's a retired 3-star lieutenant general in the Air Force, a guy that flew the B-2 bomber. He's the kind of guy that should be overseeing college sports because I think he would do it impartially and smartly. Why can't we get a guy like that and give him the keys to the car and say, drive it for us for a while? He won't do it. He wouldn't want it. But somebody like that.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't disagree with that. I would say right now, I'm afraid whoever runs it, you hear the clamoring for a czar of college football, who really is running it over the next few years are going to be attorneys. There are so many court cases that are still out there and so many court cases that are about to be out there.
True.
I mean, we haven't even talked about the first time that an NIL deal is vetoed by the Deloitte firm. How quickly do you think that player's agent, and they all have agents now, we can call them whatever they want, how long before the agent files a lawsuit saying, what do you mean that's not market value? Prove it. Mm-hmm. That is going to be rampant. So, I mean, And the thing is, whoever is quote unquote in charge of the sport, they're only in charge of it as much as legally the next court case that comes down the road, whether it makes it to Congress. You mentioned the executive order story today. Does that pass the smell test when you need 60 votes in the Senate when it's to become an actual bill? There's antitrust exemption. There's, like I said, NIL litigation. It's a mess. And so no matter who you put in that chair with a fancy title, I don't know how much authority they really have. People much more powerful are going to ultimately decide where the wind blows legally on all this. Remember, we have the House settlement. We do not have a labor agreement. Those are two entirely different things. So we decided on this 20.5 rather arbitrary number, but we do not have collective bargaining. How long is it going to be before someone sues based on not having collective bargaining? I think those lawsuits are already in circulation. So, you can find your five-star general and you can get this guy and that guy, and I just don't know how much power they ultimately have.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, as much power as they'll be granted by the schools themselves, but you're right. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud of ideas that are certainly better than anything that's working out there right now, I think, because, like you said, people, the fatigue of, and here we are going on and on about it, but because it's still topical, but the fatigue of every day dealing with something new in college athletics, which makes the pro sport, the pro game so much more appealing in that, the New York Yankees aren't going to get up and move from the American League East to the National League West. They're not going to leave, they're just not going to up and transfer to another division. They're locked in. Unlike these colleges that we talked about earlier, the story that you could have several ACC teams bolting for the SEC, and if these particular teams were to leave, you're going to kill this league. This league's going to go the way of the Pac-12. It's just going to go away.
Yeah, you do know the Astros used to be in the National League, right? And the Braves used to be in the NL West. But I get your point.
Don't be shooting down my theory. The difference is they didn't make the move. Major League Baseball made the adjustment to give some balance between the two leagues.
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct. And the Braves should have never been in the West because that made no sense whatsoever. I understand what you're saying. I have not seen the latest rumor, and we know there's been 100 of these. And you have random people who every so often, my inside sources tell me it's a done deal. Clemson's in the SEC. How many times have we seen, heard, and read that? And it's been false every single time. But the ACC is doing everything it possibly can to keep the premier. They're going to the keep Texas happy in the Big 12 model, which is, if you remember, Texas made infinitely more money than Iowa State, TCU, when they were in that league and they threatened to go to the Pac-12. And it worked until it didn't work. And now, basically, by going to a merit-based financial payout system, they're telling Clemson, Florida State, Miami, hey, look, you're going to get more money than Wake Forest. You're going to get more money than Georgia Tech because you're better. And so you don't need to look at other conferences. And I'm not so sure the SEC is dying to have, I don't know who was in the article. You said North Carolina and who? Virginia?
No. North Carolina and Clemson were the two mentioned up front. Of course, everybody knows in the back of the minds that Florida State would be a factor in that as well if there's mass exodus from the ACC. And it's all being pointed. Now, they said near future in this particular story. This was written by Inside Carolina, a North Carolina website, citing sources close to North Carolina. Well, I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
I'm gonna need another source here. Can we get another person to fact test?
I don't think the Wall Street Journal has tackled this story today. But,
I mean, give me Pete Thamel. Give me some insider. Give me anything.
these are insiders. They're called Inside Carolina. So, I mean, how much more inside can you be than Inside Carolina? The other Carolina.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
The other Carolina. I got you.
You know, they pointed out that the price to leave the ACC in 2030 dropped significantly. I think it's down to like $75 million. So,
yep, those are facts. Yep.
If that's the near future that we're talking about, then, you know, it's 4 or 5 years down the road. But they might be hinting at, you know, something happening sooner, an earlier bolt than that. I don't know. I'm just telling you what they're saying.
Yeah. And look, I'm not. I guess I'm a little bit. I'm being flipped because I've seen this written and recycled so many times. And look, I'm not saying they're not kicking the tires. Obviously, Clemson and Florida State went so far as to spend millions of dollars in litigation and lawyers to try and get out of the ACC, and it didn't work because that deal that is good through 2036 or whatever it is pretty ironclad. So once you have a wandering eye, I don't know if that ever goes away. You know, it's like the woman who first the wife who first sleeps with the pool boy. Who's next? The bartender, the guy on the cruise ship. I mean, those habits don't die easy, Phil. So
you were a pool boy back in your day in Florida.
I was a pool boy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I mean.
Let me tell you, those were some wild years, Phil. Those were some wild. It's amazing what you can do with a bottle of coconut oil. I don't know what that means.
You are speaking from experience there, my man. You're coming at us from experience. When are you getting your are you getting a TV schedule?
You ask me this every year. I don't know, Phil. I will fax it to you the moment I get it.
I mean, Mike Morgan fanatics, they just want to know. They just want to
know.
know.
No, they could care less. You want to know what they want to know? They want to know what time Carolina, Virginia Tech kicks off and what time Clemson, LSU kicks off. And maybe they're curious who's announcing those games.
Yeah.
But even then, they're more concerned about the game. And that's the way it should be. We're just in the background, Phil.
Looking forward to
kind of like you on this show. Everybody knows you're not the star of this show. It's Joshua Cohen.
Josh Cohen's taking over.
Yeah, he's the plumber.
He's the big plumber in charge. Mike, happy birthday once again. I hope you received my gift. If not, I'll send you another one. And my gift was well wishes for a happy, long life with the missus.
Wow, that's someone on your budget and your miserly ways. I expected nothing less and nothing more.
He gave me a plunger for my birthday.
You know, I do.
Hey, that would have been something.
I do remember a sickly Mike Morgan receiving some Mexican soup.
That's true. You sent soup.
I paid for that.
I am thankful.
I paid for that.
The truth is out, Phil. You didn't even pay for the soup.
He got paid back.
I don't know about that.
He got paid
back. We've got controversy here. I'm going to let you guys settle this over the break.
His father gives him a $50 a month Visa card that he can use for his goodies. Okay. So he used that. Mike, have a great weekend. Talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Be well.
We appreciate you. That's Mike Morgan. Morgan on the move right here on Sports Talk. All right. We'll be back after the break. They're moving tables around me, and not so quietly, but that's okay. I don't care. And we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hi, this is Billy Downer from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Are you looking for a safe place to shoot your rifle or handgun? Did you know that the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources operates 4 manned ranges across the state in Pickens County, Spartanburg County, Richland County, and Charleston County? For more information on our public ranges, visit dnr.sc.gov/shooting.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Let's give you tonight's recruiting report, brought to you by Seawells. All right, well, there's only one day left of this week for the daily luncheon buffet. It's a Friday. Let's see what we got.
Well,
what do we got?
I made a PP, a plumber's prediction, if you were wondering. I predicted a roast beef Friday, and I was wrong. I was wrong, and I don't really know. It's actually, I think it's the same as last week, the Friday. It's they're going for the Asian Friday, which is kind of odd, but they kind of have everything, so whatever you want. They have southern fried chicken, sesame and orange chicken with fried rice and vegetable lo mein, sliced beef brisket, and baked flounder fillets. So anything for anybody at Seawells tomorrow on Friday.
That's a good deal. Check it out for only $14 from 11 till 2, 1125 Rosewood Drive. You got something coming up here later this summer in the fall, and you need the best service when it comes to catering, then that is, of course, Seawells. Give them a phone call at 803-771-7385, or for more information, check out their website at SeawellsCateringSC.com. So I had a chance to check in with Amari Thomas, the running back out of Blunston, Florida, 6 feet 195, recently decommitted from Florida State. Immediately became one of the top running back targets available in the 26 class. He'd been committed to the Seminoles for about 6 months, yet South Carolina and others never backed off. Clemson is more of a late entry into these sweepstakes, and so Thomas said that, maybe he just needs somebody that's going to wow him. But he said everything is good, nothing's crazy. He says he doesn't have a decision in mind. South Carolina stays in touch, keeps him updated on things. There have been projections on him going to South Carolina. His response was, "I wouldn't say that," end quote. Now, he might be just trying to throw us off the track, but that's what he said. He did say he's about 75 to 80% on making the next decision. He'll announce at his school on August the 9th at 3 o'clock. And he said he's pretty much 50-50 on a favorite. Now, Clemson, like USC, does not have a running back in the 26 class. Running backs coach C.J. Spiller has been in his ear of late, and he likes Spiller, thinks Spiller's real good, a nice guy, played in the league, told him he's a good back. He was completely honest with him, told him if he was to go there, he wouldn't start right off the bat. He'd have to work his way up the depth chart. He's never been to Clemson. Asked if he could possibly choose Clemson despite never having visited, he said, honestly, yeah, I honestly could, end quote. Colorado jumped into the picture as well with an offer this week. He is hearing a lot from Colorado, and he says there's a lot of Florida people on the staff there at Colorado. Along with USC, Clemson, and Colorado, he's also considering UCF, and he still has Florida State on his list as an option. Catawba Ridge 2027 cornerback Joshua Dobson was offered by Michigan. Now to baseball, left-handed pitcher Parker Davis of Fountain Inn committed to Clemson. Infield, this is you don't see this every day. Infielder Parker McGee of Lancaster, who had committed to South Carolina back in 2022. He announced that his offer was rescinded by the Gamecocks due to roster limitations. These are his words that he posted on his social media account. The offer was no good any longer by the Gamecocks due to roster limitations. And Clemson transfer commitment outfielder Ryan Weidman signed with the Padres.
Point weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll cool down this evening to 75, and tomorrow we start to warm up in a big way. Mostly sunshine-filled skies. Go with a Thursday high of 96, starting Friday and carrying all the way into early next week. Look for high temperatures to spike with triple digits. Very hot and also dry. Turn those sprinklers on. I'm Cal Moss with your on-point local weather.
The Point is teaming up with our friends at Americans for Prosperity, South Carolina for one big, beautiful party. Join us at Flight Deck Restaurant in Lexington Friday, August the 8th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We'll do the afternoon drive live. And how about this? The food is on us. It's AFP and the Point's way of saying, hey, thanks for always supporting important causes, calling your elected officials, caring about local issues. Friday, August the 8th, Flight Deck. Come by and celebrate one big, beautiful party. We'll see you there.
Project cost. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The United States is cutting short Gaza ceasefire talks in Qatar, saying the latest response from Hamas shows a lack of desire to reach a truce. President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff said Thursday that mediators have made a great effort, but Hamas does not appear to be acting in good faith. Witkoff says the U.S. will consider alternative options to bring the hostages home and try to create a more stable environment for the people of Gaza. President Trump and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell bickered face-to-face over the cost of the Fed's renovations as the president visited the construction site. Trump claims the project cost $3.1 billion, while the Fed estimates it at $2.5 billion. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 316 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on The Point, join me, Chad Jordan, and my co-host Larry Jordan for the Palmetto Real Estate Pros. We'll help you out whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just learn all things real estate every Friday right here at 100.7 The Point.
When your pipes panic, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning steps right in, fast and friendly. Josh and his team aren't just fixing leaks, they're restoring your peace of mind. This is when you're at your most vulnerable. You got a problem, you need a solution. They're not coming out to upsell you or talk you into something new this or new that. You'll appreciate their process. They'll tell you what needs to get done and what it'll cost before they ever even bring in their tools to start the work. They're locally owned, which unfortunately is no longer the norm in the Midlands. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning will treat every home like their own. They've done work for me, for my brother, countless numbers of Point listeners. Dial 799-2222 or visit franklinplumbing.sc.com and you tell them Kev from The Point sent you. You will experience plumbing that's more than just a fix. It's a solution from people who care about their work and stand by it. When you need them, please don't panic. Just call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 799-2222.
Rain and chimneys don't mix well. This is Drew from ChimSpector, and we understand this all too well. Water exposure can cause serious damage to your chimney, but we've got just the solution for you. A top-to-bottom comprehensive inspection. Embrace chimney waterproofing and safeguard your home from potential leaks. Give ChimSpector a call at 803-859-5858 or explore our range of services at chimspector.com. We're your partner in the battle against chimney damage. That's ChimSpector at 803-859-5858 or online at chimspector.com.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing Friday Night Prime Rib Special. Our great chefs at Flight Deck Restaurant have created a great prime rib dinner special, which includes a 10-ounce slow-roasted certified Angus beef prime rib dinner, served with 2 sides of your choice for only $22.95. And if you mention we love Flight Deck, you get a free cookie or a soft drink with your meal. So come see us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy a delicious slow-roasted prime rib dinner. While you're here, check out the new and improved arcade with over 33 games. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
And I didn't stop there, I swear. From the time I wake up to the time I lay down, it's the devil's play. playground everywhere that I look. Swear it's there.
All right, let's continue with our good stuff from here in Charlotte. ACC kickoff is over. Antonio Williams, one of the folks we had a chance to talk with from Clemson today. And what a mature young man he's become, going back to his years at Dutch Fork and where he is now, exploding on the scene with a great season last year. We had a chance to go one-on-one with him earlier today. Gosh, man, can you believe you're at the end of the line with your college career? We remember you coming out of high school and your recruiting and what a star you were, and now you got a chance to finish up on a high note with Clemson coming off a great year last year.
Yeah, man, it flies by. The days are long, but the years are short, especially when we get going into camp. Those couple weeks, and then, the season is here just like that. So, the last ride, technically, if I wanted to, this is my redshirt junior year because, I got a medical year my sophomore year. But hopefully all goes to plan and I can declare after this year.
Yeah, you're looking forward to taking that next step.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Next level.
You took that next step last season. Everybody knew it was in you, and then it really came to fruition. And maybe the growth of Cade Klubnik had a lot to do with it as well. What do you remember about last season?
Last season I was just able to be on the field. My sophomore season there was a lot of injuries and I couldn't stay out there. So I think just the biggest thing for me was being able to be out there and be healthy. You can't do anything if you're not on the field. So my sophomore year gave me a lot of hunger and just gratefulness to be out there. So I just try to take every advantage when I was able to play, and I'm trying to take a next step from last year to this year, however I can. Each year I'm trying to get better. If you ain't getting better, you're getting worse. So, I'm excited for this year.
What have you done this offseason to take that next step?
I did basically everything I did last year and more. But last year I, taking a trip with Cade and other receivers to Cali to work with his quarterback coach, and we have some new things in the bag that we've been working on, like different type of throws and catches that we're going to be on the same page to make, and then going down to Fort Lauderdale to train with my speed training coach Tony at XBE. He gets me right, gets me fast, keeps me mobile and in shape, and gets me feeling good for the season.
You feel faster?
Yeah. I'm on pace when that time comes to run at 40. Numbers are looking good for a 4.3, so I feel fast, feel good. I'm at a good weight right now. I'm eating good, eating healthy. Girlfriend's cooking good, so we're having fun. Head's in the right spot, for this season.
Talking with Antonio Williams, Clemson receiver. This receiving group, how good do you feel about this bunch? It's being talked about as in the same kind of words as some of the best groups that come through Clemson.
Mm-hmm. I feel better than I ever have because, last year, TJ and Brian were freshmen, so now they have a year under their belt, and, they're looking to improve on last season, and then we added some guys with Tristan, and then, we're going to get TB back healthy and then Cole Turner. So, we're real deep. We got at least 6 guys or more that, can go out there and it's going to keep everybody's legs fresh. We all got to stay healthy, obviously. But the talent's there, on paper we look good. I feel like we can match up with anybody, and in my opinion, we got the best receiver room in the nation.
What did Tristan bring to that room?
Height, length, a different frame, different type of receiver, more of a physical, high ball type of guy. And then he just brings a different personality and fun and eagerness to the room.
Looks like Clemson has all the parts necessary You see it that way?
That's how I see it. Like I said, I think we can match up with anybody. On paper, you look at, our team right now and, the teams in the past like that Clemson has had that have won national championships. I mean, in my opinion, if you put those side by side, I think we match up really good. But none of that matters if we don't put in the work and execute on game day and during the off season. And fall camp is gonna be really big for us, and a lot of confidence rolling into that first game. And if we can come out victorious in that one, then I think that's gonna keep us going, keep us rolling into the rest of the season.
Last year it was Georgia, kind of a dud for you in Atlanta. This year it's LSU at your Death Valley. They're pumped. They know how big that game is. You guys will be pumped. What are you expecting that night?
Oh, I mean, I think that environment is going to be crazy. It's been a lot of talk in the off season and expectations and everything that is going into this game. There's a lot on the line. There's a lot of respect between both teams, and whoever wins that got a lot of bragging rights. And I'm just looking forward to it, excited for that opportunity. When you get a opportunity first game, at home. We haven't had a home opener, and I don't think since I've been at Clemson, which is crazy. And then we lost to Duke sophomore year, and then lost last year to Georgia. So we're trying to flip that around and have some momentum coming out of our first game.
We thank you for visiting with us.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Will do.
It's a grind. You think everybody thinks the media just sits around and eats. It's a grind.
Hey, y'all working. I respect everything y'all do. And I was excited to be here.
Kid gets it. Clemson note, former Tiger defensive tackle Christian Wilkins being released by the Raiders, according to Ian Rappaport. And this is after one season of a 5-year, $110 million deal, he cites sources. Wilkins been dealing with a foot injury. He's on the books for $57.5 million fully guaranteed. Okay. All right. To Brent Pry, the head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies. They are going to be, of course, hoping to be contenders here in the ACC. But first and foremost, he's got a matchup with South Carolina to open the season in Atlanta. Had a chance to go one-on-one with him this afternoon. First of all, thanks for coming over and visiting with us. You got your tie loosened up. It's been a long, tough day on you coaches around here. But you're talking the gospel of Virginia Tech, and you're feeling good about the upcoming season.
Yeah, we love talking about our Hokies. And, I'm awful proud of the guys we brought here today. They've done a tremendous job, and they're great representatives of what's happening with our program right now. And, what this thing needs to look like at Virginia Tech. But it's exciting. This event always gets me going because it means we're that much closer to the season.
Yeah.
And, everybody gets excited. And, nobody's played a game yet, so I'm not sure what's being said means a whole lot as far as wins and losses. But it means you're definitely getting close.
Now, Steve Spurrier used to love talking season because everybody was undefeated. Everybody had great teams until they started playing. What has you so excited about this year's Hokie team?
I'm going to tell you now, this group is more together and has a stronger bond. They are a true brotherhood. They have doubled down on investment. We've doubled down on team building. They're a special group. And I love that, the guys that are going to lead this group this year are guys that have come up in this program. They're wired the right way. They're saying the right things. They're working the right way. They're sacrificing. They're investing. This group wants more. We can't work them hard enough. They just keep asking for more. And, they're special that way. And, they're awful committed and determined to prove a lot of folks wrong.
Helps to have a veteran starting quarterback to work around?
Yeah, absolutely. Kyron, he's a special guy. He's one of the tougher players I've been around. He's to me, he's truly a seasoned quarterback now. He's been through the ups and the downs and the injuries, and, he's a pretty tough soul. And I love what he and Coach Phil Montgomery are doing. The relationship there, the offense, it all makes sense for Kyron. He loves it, which is important. And, a healthy Kyron Jones and a consistent Kyron Jones goes a long way in us having a good season.
What makes him and what makes your offense the most dangerous when he's on his game?
Yeah, I think, obviously he can hurt you with his feet, much like the Sellers kid. I mean, he's a big, strong guy that can run the football. He also has a really strong arm. He's smart, and as I mentioned, he's a poised and seasoned guy that, I think, for Phil Montgomery, the quarterbacks that he's developed in his career, from RG3 and Case Keenum and all these guys, I mean, he had instant credibility with Kyron. Kyron knew he offered Kyron in high school, and, just the relationship there, which is so important, is in a really good place. And Kyron believes and Phil believes, and, so the guys around him feel that. And I think, we're in a better place on that side of football than we've been.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's turn our attention to the opener. I mean, I know you got a long season ahead, but in my state, South Carolina, and your state, Virginia, they're looking at that South Carolina-Virginia Tech matchup in Atlanta in about a month. And the old Beamer Bowl kind of thing. Of course, the history with Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech, and Shane being a graduate, but, I mean, this is your program. It's in your image now. How excited are your people about getting a chance to go up against a Beamer and play this game in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm excited for our guys. It's an unbelievable opportunity. You get to go to Atlanta, play in an NFL stadium, play on national TV, prime time. You get to play a South Carolina team that everybody's talking about. They have talent, in so many areas of their team, and they have a ton of momentum. Arguably should have been in the playoffs. I mean, they're that caliber team. And, we got a good football team ourselves. We got a lot of work left to do this camp. But I'm excited about the matchup. I got, obviously, just the utmost respect for Coach Beamer, for Frank. I mean, he still pops his head in, once or twice a week and comes by the facility. And, I still become like an old GA the minute he walks in. Can I get you a coffee? You want to sit at your desk? Like, you want me to leave? Like,
Yeah.
And, and Shane was playing when I was coaching at Tech the first time. And so he and I have had a relationship for a while. But, a ton of respect for what he's done and the job he's done. It hasn't been easy, and he's got things headed in the right direction. And so it'll be a good matchup.
All that's put aside, though, when you get on the field, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you could be playing your dad. You want to win. That's how coaches are wired.
You mentioned Sellers, and just your thoughts on him as you've looked at the film, and I'm sure you've looked at that Clemson game in particular.
Yeah.
Just your view on him. So much is being put on him to carry this offense this coming season because they're not so sure about the running game situation right now. But your thoughts on trying to defend him and some of the ideas you might have in your mind about that.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm not going to divulge all those on Columbia Radio right here, but, obviously we got to contain him.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make his plays. He's too good a player not to. He's going to make his plays. We got to minimize where those happen and how many of them happen. But and we also have to answer. We got to be able to answer what he does. And, I like our quarterback too. And when he's healthy, he's pretty special and capable of a lot of things. But, Coach Siefkas, our defensive coordinator, he's been around some pretty special quarterbacks in the league that they've had to defend. And so there'll be a good plan in place.
Coach, thank you very much. Appreciate the visit. Look forward to seeing you in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Thank you for what you do, man.
Thank you, sir. All right, that is Brent Pry, 6-7 last year at Virginia Tech, 7-6 the year before that. Won 3 games in his first year. So the Hokies, that's a proud football community, as we all know. They're ready to take that next step and get back to a 9-10 win season or more. And we'll see. They got the veteran quarterback. That game with South Carolina is going to be a dandy in Atlanta. We're going to hear from Belichick after the break.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, let's say I'm out in the woods or I'm on the water and I need to reach a DNR agent. How do I do that?
Operation Game Thief, Phil. It's been around 30-plus years. You can call us at our 24-hour hotline any time of day, 1-800-922-5431. To report wildlife violations or to get help if you're in trouble in the woods or on the water, call us at Operation Game Thief, 1-800-922-5431.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
No question, the star of the day here in Charlotte, Bill Belichick, the NFL great coach, bringing his legacy to North Carolina, taking over the Tar Heels in the big room. It was jam-packed. Here is some of what he had to say to open things up.
Really exciting for me to be here. Start with, Chancellor Roberts. He's made such a huge difference in the opportunity to come to North Carolina. Been very supportive. Has given us a great opportunity at a school that's already a great school with a great brand, and obviously Bubba Cunningham, Steve Newmark, those guys have been great. Our alumni, Mike Lombardi and I we're into the double figures on the donor events and alumni events, things like that, and I'd say just the sport's been overwhelmingly tremendous. Not only supportive, but engaged and, very excited. We want to match that excitement and put that on the field. So, Mike and I have worked together for a long time, going all the way back to the start of Cleveland. Mike in a general manager role, myself in a coaching role. And, we've had a lot of experience in dealing with kind of what the college football landscape is now. Similar, not the same, but similar. In terms of, NIL, revenue sharing, free agency, if you will, and, recruiting, post-draft type recruiting as opposed to drafting. And so, Mike's done a great job of, reinforcing the roster. We have a number of players here that have been here that we're, excited to work with. We have two of them here, Jordan and Will. But also, we brought in a lot of players. We have 70 new players from last year, so that weren't on the roster last season. So, that's a lot of people and a lot of turnover. It's also been that way with our coaching staff. Some of the players or some of the staff members on the coaching end and on the sport end and scouting I've worked with in the past, but there are a lot of new people there. So when you combine all the scouting support and player transition into the program, it's a lot, and we're very much looking forward to getting out on the field next week and seeing it all come together. I've been super impressed with the way our players have competed. They've worked really hard. I think they're in good condition. We've hit a lot of personal. They've hit a lot of personal high marks, in whether it be strength, speed, explosion, different measurements that we've taken. Through the course of the training, the beginning through the end, and looking back on their career from previous training years, like these guys have really worked hard and they have a lot to show for it. And so we're almost at the point where we can get out there and start putting together the chemistry, the timing, the execution, the communication, that we need to have on the field. But Mike and his scouting staff have really. Between the scouting on the freshmen or, the incoming recruits, the 26th class, which is, already looking like that'll be a pretty positive group, and two transfer portals. The roster is very competitive, and I look forward to, seeing how all that plays out. And, everybody's got a lot of focus, obviously, on the TCU opener, which, is in our sights. But really right now the big thing for us is just stacking good training days, one on top of another, one at a time, and being ready to go not only for the opener but for the entire regular season in the ACC schedule. So, that's our outlook. Just put good days together, take advantage of every opportunity. Don't let any days go by where we don't continue to improve, get better, and get closer to becoming the most consistent and best football team we can be when we step out on the field, and that'll hopefully continue every week. That we'll continue to improve as a team and all the way through the course of the season. So that's what we've always tried to do, and so that'll be our goals this year.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, coming to this specific institution and developing these players off the field, why it was right for you to come to North Carolina and develop these Tar Heels?
Thanks, Dan. Developing players is really what coaching is, and that's what we do. We take great pride in that, myself and our staff, and players who want to be developed. So a Carolina player is a player who wants to be a good football player, who wants to work hard, who wants to make a commitment towards improving on a regular basis, both training and team execution on the field. And so when we get those players, we see a lot of improvement, a lot of development, and that's going back, what was it, Cleveland, where Mike and I put together an offensive line where, 4 of the 5 stars are free agents, or at New England where we had a number of, low draft choices, or high draft choices, I should say. I'd say Brady and Edelman, players like that, who turned out to be great players, as well as some of the other players, are higher picks that developed, like Gronkowski, and so forth. So development's a big part for us, and players that want to come in, work hard, be good players, learn and compete. Competition is what makes us all better. Again, the best competition for me, I learned the most from, going against, great offensive coaches like, Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, Joe Gibbs, and all those guys that I competed against. That's what made me great as a coach, or made me work the hardest as a coach, was to compete against those people. And so same thing for the players. Internal competition, the competition we have daily on the field, will get us most ready for the competition that we'll face on Saturdays.
Okie doke, there you go. North Carolina with their new head coach, new energy, new enthusiasm. They've sold out every ticket, individual ticket, season ticket. So they're excited about Bill Belichick being there, coming off a 6-7. And we'll see. They got quarterback issues, transfer quarterbacks, one high school quarterback who was pretty highly regarded. Otherwise, it's transfer city at quarterback there for North Carolina. Opening up against TCU on a Monday night. That'll be a difficult opener for sure. Then they play at Charlotte. How about that? North Carolina's going to play at Charlotte. I don't think that's in BOA. I think that's got to be at the Charlotte, the 49ers stadium, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to be at BOA. I don't know. Richmond, and then at UCF. Clemson goes there on October the 4th, so looking forward to that. Been a while since Clemson played in Chapel Hill. All right, a couple of other quick things. PGA, they are playing the 3M Open, and had somebody go real low today. Adam Svensson, a 60, 11 under par, 60. Sam Stevens and Thorbjorn Olsen, a 62 for those two. Sam Stevens, a 62. Thorbjorn Olesen, a 62. Chad Ramey had a 63, as did Matt Schmid. And Chris Gotterup, who played so well at the Open, had a 63. Scores very, very low in this one, obviously. Locals, Kevin Kisner, a 67. Ben Martin, a 70. Carson Young, a 72. And Jacob Bridgman, a 72 as well. And this is interesting. Have I got time to touch on this? On3 Memphis, website that covers Memphis, obtained direct messages from a former Memphis defensive back, Taj Rael, allegedly sent direct messages to the quarterback at UTSA, giving him information on the Memphis playbook before their game, which the Roadrunners won 44-36. Obviously, this Taj Rael was not in good standing with Memphis at the time this happened. See how that story develops. That'll do it for us tonight. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow.